Even though we have a little security problem on our hands, we must prepare you for temporal displacement. That's time travel to you. Now, it's crucial that I spend a little time going over the basics of time travel. Perhaps this demonstration will suffice.
Few films capture the imagination like Back to the Future. The time-travelling DeLorean, the eccentric Doc Brown, and the high-stakes adventures of Marty McFly have cemented themselves as icons of pop culture. So when Universal decided to bring the world of Hill Valley to life, they didn't just make a ride, they created an experience that sent guests hurtling through time itself. But how did this legendary attraction come to be, and why did it disappear? Buckle up, because we're setting the time circuits to 1991 and taking a trip through the history of Back to the Future, the ride.
We are currently experiencing minor security difficulties. We apologize for the inconvenience.
Universal Studios in Hollywood had already seen success with the King Kong Encounter and Earthquake the Big One during the main tour at their Hollywood park. But with the rapid expansion into Florida in the late 80s and early 90s, they needed a headlining attraction to compete with Disney. However, when the Florida park first opened in 1990, it was plagued with issues. Several rides, including Jaws and Earthquake, suffered from significant technical difficulties, leading to poor guest experiences and a tarnished reputation. The park struggled to gain momentum, and Universal needed a major success to turn things around. Enter Back to the Future the ride. The original concept envisioned a physical roller coaster through various time periods, but technology at the time and the need for multiple clones of the DeLorean made this impractical. Instead, Universal turned to motion simulator technology, which had been proven successful with Star Tours at Disneyland. But Universal wasn't just going to copy the competition, they wanted to push the boundaries of theme park storytelling. So when Back to the Future the ride finally opened in 1991, it became an instant hit, drawing in massive crowds and helping restore Universal's credibility. The attraction's success played a significant role in solidifying Universal Studios Florida as a top-tier theme park and set the stage for future blockbuster attractions. Bringing Back to the Future the ride to life was no small feat. The attraction needed to immerse guests in the world of Hill Valley, create a thrilling yet family-friendly experience, and most importantly, live up to the film's legacy. Universal partnered with the ride system manufacturer Intamin, known for their work on groundbreaking attractions. The ride would use an Omnimax dome, a massive projection screen that surrounded guests, making them feel like they were truly travelling through time. The vehicles themselves were motion-based simulators, with each seating 8 guests in a modified DeLorean. The ride's advanced hydraulic system synchronised the vehicle's movement with the on-screen action, creating a seamless illusion of high-speed adventure. Perhaps the most ambitious aspect was the ride film itself. Universal enlisted Douglas Trumbull, the visual effects legend behind 2001: A Space Odyssey and Blade Runner, to direct the footage. The film had to be shot in 70mm, one of the highest resolutions available, to maintain clarity on the massive Omnimax screens. Christopher Lloyd returned as Doc Brown, reprising his iconic role, and Tom Wilson was back as the villainous Biff Tannen. However, Michael J. Fox, due to scheduling conflicts, didn't return, and Marty McFly was instead represented through indirect references. Filming was no small task. Large-scale miniatures were built to depict different time periods, from the prehistoric age to a chaotic future filled with flying cars. Practical effects were blended with computer-generated imagery, a cutting-edge approach for the time. And the result was a visually stunning time travel adventure that put guests right in the middle of the action. Guests first entered the Institute of Future Technology, or IFT, a facility founded by Doc Brown to further time travel research. Inside, pre-show videos set up the story. Biff Tannen, now a time-travelling troublemaker, has stolen a DeLorean and is wreaking havoc across history. Doc Brown enlists guests to help chase him down and return him to the present. Once seated inside their DeLorean, guests were launched into the future, the year 2015. Towering skyscrapers and flying cars surrounded them as they raced through the neon-lit city. Weaving through heavy traffic, guests dodged obstacles as Biff led them on a high-speed chase through Hill Valley's futuristic skyline. But just as they were closing in, Biff activated his time circuits and vanished into another era. And with Biff still ahead, the pursuit continued into another time period. The chase then took guests to the freezing ice age, where guests dodged towering glaciers and massive avalanches. The final destination was a prehistoric past, where they found themselves soaring over a volcanic landscape filled with dinosaurs. Lava spewed from an erupting volcano, and a massive T-Rex lunged at the DeLorean, forcing guests to make a daring escape. Biff's DeLorean finally spun out of control, and with Doc Brown seizing control of the time circuits, guests were pulled back into the present and safely returned to the Institute of Future Technology. And with Biff captured, the mission was complete. For over a decade, Back to the Future the Ride was a must-visit attraction at Universal Studios in Hollywood, Florida and Japan. It perfectly captured the spirit of the films while delivering a thrilling, one-of-a-kind experience. But by the mid-2000s, the ride was beginning to show its age. Motion simulators had evolved, and new franchises were drawing larger crowds. Universal made the difficult decision to close the ride in Hollywood in 2007, followed by Orlando later that year. The Japanese version held out until 2016, but eventually it too was replaced. And in its place came the Simpsons ride, another motion simulator that repurposed much of the original ride system, but swapped time travel for Springfield hijinks. And while the Simpsons ride has been popular, many fans still reminisce about the days of flying through time with Doc Brown. And Back to the Future still maintains a presence in the park today. A replica of the iconic DeLorean remains on display, a popular photo spot for fans. Doc Brown himself continues to make appearances for meet and greets, keeping the spirit of the franchise alive. And while the ride may be gone, its legacy endures in the hearts of theme park guests and film fans alike. So what about the future of the franchise at Universal Studios Orlando? With the announcement that the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket is now confirmed to be closing, many fans are wondering if this could be an opportunity for Back to the Future to return to Universal in some form. The franchise remains beloved. And could the potential for a Back to the Future roller coaster in Rip Ride Rocket's place be that far-fetched? I guess while a fully fledged ride return seems unlikely, Universal has surprised fans before, and with the growing popularity of nostalgia-driven attractions, Universal could be considering a revival. And additionally, with Universal's focus on immersive environments, a dedicated Back to the Future area with themed restaurants, stores, or even small-scale experiences could be on the cards. As Universal continues to evolve, only time will tell if the DeLorean will once again rev up its engines for a new generation of theme park fans. But of all the theories going around about what might replace the Rip Ride Rocket at the moment, I do think that the concept of a Back to the Future roller coaster, perhaps with a launch close to something like 88 miles per hour, could work. It certainly fits to the theme of a movie studio theme park better than the Rip Ride Rocket ever did. But that's just my opinion. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments whether you'd like to see Back to the Future replace the Rip Ride Rocket, or whether there is another franchise you think would fit better. And that's the story of Back to the Future the Ride. It may no longer exist in our present, but thanks to the magic of time travel, it'll always be part of theme park history. So next time you hear the hum of the DeLorean's engine, just remember, the future is what you make it. Thanks so much for watching today. You drop down into the comments and let me know what you thought of Back to the Future the Ride, and what your hopes are for getting this franchise back into the parks in the future. Please pop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. It's hugely helpful to me and this growing channel. And also consider subscribing for more of these theme park nostalgia videos. And if the history of these rides interests you, why don't you check out this video next? So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the future.